Video 8 of my mum's testimony. In Matthew 15:22-28, it says, "A Canaanite woman from the vicinity came to him, crying out, 'Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon-possessed and suffering terribly.' Jesus did not answer her a word. So the disciples came to him and urged him, 'Send her away, for she keeps crying after us.' He answered, 'I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel.' The woman came and knelt before him. 'Lord, help me,' she said. He replied, 'It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs.' 'Yes, it is, Lord,' she said. 'Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table.' Then Jesus said to her, 'Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted.' And her daughter was healed at that very moment. This mother related to Jesus her misery, saying her daughter was bewitched and possessed by a demon. There are different degrees of that misery, and this was the worst sort. The vexation of children are the trouble of parents, and nothing should be more so than the child that was under the power of Satan. Tender parents very sensibly feel the miseries of their child as they are part of themselves. They should have the attitude, though vexed with the devil, yet she is my daughter still. The greatest of afflictions of our children do not dissolve our obligations to them. We should not alienate our affections from them. It was the distress and trouble in their family unit that now brought them to Christ. She didn't come to Jesus for teaching, but for deliverance and for healing. She came in great faith, and Jesus did not reject her. From the Lord she expected acts of power, for he can command deliverances. We, if we have affliction of this type in our families, can expect all the mercy and grace which were foretold concerning Jesus. My mother's mum was confused, to say the least, with this her third daughter, and would discuss these persistent episodes with her own mother. Both came to the conclusion that Christ was the only one to give her peace from this inherited demon. My mum's mother, she didn't volunteer herself to take care of that very important need in her daughter's life, in my mum's life. My mum's grandmother had more compassion, thankfully. So it was soon decided that my mum would go live with and be brought up by her grandmother. My mother was to go to the church, Sunday school, and join the choir. But my mum's grandmother left her at the door the first day at church, and she had to make her own way the rest of the time. She wasn't like the Canaanite woman in the scriptures, showing Jesus' modern-day disciples her affection toward her demon-possessed child, being the grandchild for my great-grandmother, and stating that she needed Christ's deliverance and healing for my mum. Instead, she settled for Christ's teaching for my mum instead. But in sending her to church every Sunday morning, her grandmother must have prayed for acts of power, For Jesus alone can command deliverances, along with mercy and grace for my mum.